Okay, good morning and welcome to our webinar on real estate investment strategies for foreign nationals. My name is Juan Diego Anal, Marketing Officer for Banesco USA. We're very happy to be joined by just a fantastic panel of great people. We're gonna, kind of break it down to us about, what we need to do to be successful in understanding the trends in real estate, and also how we can take advantage of some financing and loan options to optimize our portfolio and consider making some of these purchases with a portion of loans rather than buying it all in cash. And so I've got let's start with my left of me. I've got Alexander Peters here from founder of the team and Wealth Sotheby's, and you have the responsibility of selling this amazing property where we are in. And before you get started, we're going to run a quick video. It doesn't do the justice of where we are right now, but I want everybody to just kind of check out what we're going to be seeing. We're doing this webinar in English. Just about an hour ago, we did it in Spanish. It was a great conversation. One of the things that I love is that at Banesco and also at Sotheby's, we have multi-language capabilities. So if you missed it or you want one in a different language, we'll probably make it available to you and we'll send it over. Okay, I'm getting distracted because of this video. So Alex, can you just kind of share some of the incredible features of this property?
As you said, it does speak for itself, and really the best way to see it is to come and see it for yourself, because I've been here several times now and I'm still discovering parts of it that I hadn't seen before. But just to give you some of the details, this is a 8,120 square foot home on a almost 10,000 square foot lot in a community called Atlantic Isle. Atlantic Isle is only one of two communities in Sunny Isles that actually has single family homes. There's only 55 homes on this island, and the beauty of it is directly across from the ocean with a private beach access. The house itself is filled with onyx from about, we call it the United Nations of onyxes, 6 different countries. The pillars that you see on a lot of these pictures are imported from Honduras. They are hand carved. We've got a lot of book-matched onyx from Bolivia, from Hungary, that adorn this house. The wood panel, the closet, as you see right now, is a floor in itself. In New York, you could probably buy an apartment like that for about $1 million at the same size. And again, if you look at all the wood paneling and the hand carving, it's solid wood. It is craftsmanship that in today's age you could probably not pay for or even find anymore. The house was built in 2005, designed by the owners based on trips they've made to Europe. They have Italian ancestry, and that is reflected in the interior of this home. You walk around, and if you don't look up, you'll miss half of the beauty of it, because some of the ceilings are reminiscent of the Sistine Chapel or the churches you would find in Europe. The exterior also has a pool, Venetian type exterior architecture, and the best part is waterfront. So this home, and right now for 11.5 million, if it were a little further south from here, you probably could triple that amount. So it's still a bargain.
It is a bargain, right? Well, I don't know about a bargain, but it certainly does feel like paradise, Alice. And, we can continue doing webinars here all the time. Invite me. It's just absolutely breathtaking to watch. I almost felt like I needed to pay admission just to walk in.
Yeah, I feel like I'm giving museum tours every time.
Right. And of course, if you know anybody that's in the market, this could be yours, right? I think Alex has some special offers today.
Yeah, buy one, get one free. We just sold the one. But it is a very unique property, and I don't think in the 17 years of real estate I've ever been in a property quite this spectacular.
And
so much detail.
Speaking seriously, there are some really unique finds in South Florida, and you don't just pick up the phone or go on Google and have them come up. And I know that our investors are very discerning. They want something unique. They want something that makes a difference. That gives them that feeling of accomplishment, but also appreciation. And they need somebody that's going to understand, what they're after and find unique spaces just like this one. And so for that reason, I think, it's great to connect with somebody like you, Alex. You know all of these unique places. You know how to tell them to appreciate and how to make more money with their money. And I really highly encourage people to just connect with Alexander. You're going to get her contact information because this is truly unique, and all of your properties are really like this.
Well, we're a team, and between the three of us, we cover a lot of aspects of the Miami real estate market. And we always like to say that we really want to be your realtor for life, from being your first time home buyer's agent to your last time home seller's agent. Most of our business has come through referrals from happy clients. And yeah, it is, especially in this day and age, very important that you work with a seasoned agent who knows not just a pocket of Miami, not just farms an area. You really need to farm Miami as an entire city, because the people that are buying here need a lot of guidance, because we've exploded. Our footprint's gotten larger and more interesting and varied and diverse. So
now you work with a very particular type of clientele, and I know that some of the people that are at this webinar fit that description, but if you don't, you know somebody like this. So why don't we help them out? We have a couple of charts that you'll see as you're talking to kind of help highlight some of the things we'll talk about. But tell us a little bit how you would describe your typical client, you know, in terms of demographics, what they want, where they're from.
Well, typical is a broad word. We've gone from typical to actually having to appeal to a much broader group of buyers, much more varied. Miami, even before COVID, had about 900 people a day moving to Florida. Out of those, 25% end up in Miami. From New York alone, we had about 200,000 people moving to the state of Florida in a 10-month range. So that in itself shows you that the people that have been moving here, a lot of them are domestic, are coming from New York and California. They have a higher standard of what kind of service they want. But we've also now, as of today, are welcoming back our foreign buyers, which is very interesting. I think we saw all over social media today the first airplanes leaving Heathrow, heading for Miami again and New York. So we do try to address the needs, not just of second home buyers anymore, but people who really are looking at Miami now as a full-time place to live. And with that comes a longer term thinking. And it is for them also more interesting to buy with a loan. It helps them build up credit. It helps, you know, it's not just let's buy a second little beachfront condo anymore.
And you have a lot of buyers that are overseas, right? Latin America, Europe, Canada.
Well, the Canadians are still number one, but Brazil is shortly thereafter, and Argentina, and also a lot more Europeans. So yeah, we have about we're going to go back to, it used to be that we had more foreign buyers than local, which has shifted through COVID, but I think that is going to change dramatically this season again.
Well, it's always been that way for Miami, and you know, we welcome the influx of out-of-state U.S. investment, but certainly, you know, we will probably have a lot more foreign nationals coming back, and I think that's a great segue here to my right, our Enrique, our residential loan officer for Banesco USA, and you know, let's talk about Banesco, because there's many different banks for many different people, but one of the things about Banesco is that, you know, when you're coming from another country into the U.S., you know, and our particular segment are accomplished, successful investors that have you know, they've earned a good amount of resources, right, and a good portfolio, good net worth, but the reality is that doing business in the US, once you're in the middle of it, is different, and there's a lot of questions. And I think that, you know, one of the things about Banesco is that you appeal and you understand the international market. So tell us a little bit more about who is Banesco and what makes us different.
Okay, Banesco is a local bank, a U.S. bank. We have 5 branches in South Florida and Puerto Rico. We have like $2 billion in assets, and we are a leader in lending to the foreign nationals. That's basically, you know, what we do every single day. We understand the culture of the foreign national. We have experience financing properties like this one, and I hope that we, you know, are able to finance the buyer once he comes. And we are a complete bank. We can open an account for the foreign nationals, and we assist them. They will never find a 1-800 number to reach us. They will always be able to reach us. So we'll be close. We will hold their hands from the beginning to the end.
So Banesco, independent Florida State Charter Bank, right? So it's a U.S. bank, FDIC insured. But a lot of the bankers really have that international background. Like in your case, tell us a little bit about, you speak multiple languages, you have an international background, and that's important to our clientele, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, we in our team, we speak several languages. We read even more languages, so we can assist them. We travel to South America. We travel also to Europe, where we have some clients as well. So we are always in contact. We understand, we are aware of the special circumstances of a particular country, special legislation that they may have. We know that also we understand the wish of estate planning that our borrowers may have. So we allow, and we're familiar with the complex corporate structures. They may have, an LLC or an Inc., and they may have a BVI on top of that, or a trust. That's completely normal for us.
Right. None of this scares you, right?
No.
Because it's not your typical documentation that you would bring to a typical bank, right? It's different, and you just need to understand it so that it's normal for you, because that's just what they have in other countries, right?
Correct. Thanks God that we are completely paperless. So we are very, very into technology. Before, years ago, when we were not paperless, the files had like 2 inches or 3 inches, with the documentation. So it's not the same to do a loan for a person from the US, where you just require certain documentation, but for nationals, they have to give us, a lot of documentation.
Fantastic. Well, I do know that you brought in a great video. I want to share this. It kind of summarizes what Banesco USA is. So let's play this real quick for everybody who's watching, and then we'll come back to our panel in a second.
We are Banesco USA, and we help foreign national establish secondary homes, vacation homes, and investment properties in South Florida. We have a dedicated multilingual team that speak English, Spanish, and Portuguese that will assist borrowers from originating to closing. We offer a smooth process, local approval, no prepayment penalties, vast market experience, experts on international client needs, selected preferred lender by the Ritz-Carlton Residences in Sunny Isles. Because we want our clients to feel at home when they finance their home in the U.S. With us, they'll feel like a local. At the end, it's not only about having this view, but to behold it knowing you made the best deal. Banesco USA, the premier foreign national real estate lender.
So, let's talk about, put ourselves in the shoes of our customers right for a second. You're coming in from overseas. You're coming in Miami. Can you describe a little bit,
Well, this is not their. This is how would you qualify this type of investment within their portfolio?
Well, we are finding a lot of people coming now where it is a first home, but they are savvy, seasoned buyers that come here with a lot of them with the goal to stay. And so our role as a realtor is really more than just going on the MLS and finding them some properties. It's a lot of hand holding, like you were saying earlier. They expect a very customized, personalized service. We are not just realtors. I mean, we're school advisors, therapists, interior designers. So we have to try to offer a little more than just finding. It's not just about finding a home.
Well, it's matchmaking, right? You're building a relationship.
Yeah, we call
with them.
ourselves matchmakers. Yeah, that's very
Okay.
true.
Well, if you're gonna live somewhere, you want to make sure you love your home, right? And so that's important.
Well, and
And there's no internet dating for matchmaking. You can't just go on a webpage and find it. The video, like I remind us, the video is amazing. It does not do justice to this beautiful property, but what do you do as far as trying to help that match, for people that are outside, that want to maximize their time here?
Well, technology is a big thing. I mean, we may have less FaceTime, but we have more FaceTime. There's a lot more of ways to show properties. We have people who are, the biggest change, I think, is people have become more respectful of time. And you don't see the recreational real estate shoppers, the tire kickers that sort of, come to open houses for, because, people didn't want to be on top of each other. People have learned to look at properties from their bed in a 3D Matterport tour or a guided tour with one of us. We do many showings where we virtually walk through the home with somebody on our cell phone. Homes like this have benefited greatly from the 3D tours because people can actually go back and revisit the details, zoom in on the hand carvings, things like that. And what's also interesting is that new development, which is now coming up again, Sotheby's actually just launched a few new development properties. They are able to create a virtual property already. So you're not just buying specs anymore, you're actually able to walk around a building that hasn't been built yet.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And so, tell us a little bit more about how you build that relationship with your clients and why that's important.
Well, we've all three of us have been in it for a long time, and relationships, like you said, we build them hopefully for life. We align a lot with partners, such as a good mortgage broker from a good bank or a good attorney that can help with immigration, estate planning. So it is a full package. It's very important. It's very important that we have a relationship.
Also, Enrique, well, then
Because
let's,
a lot of buyers come here and you really need to have all your ducks lined up. You need to be able to, when you see that property that you like, especially if you're buying with a loan, you should have gone through the process prior to make sure that you can afford it and how you're going to buy it, and how much it would make sense to mortgage and how much you can put in cash, so that when you make that offer, you submit the full package already.
well, and so let's talk about that for a second, right? And so let's jump into it. You were telling me earlier today that about 70% of the purchases are done in cash. But with the interest rates where they are, financing becomes a really interesting tool to optimize your portfolio. So, Enrique, what are some of those considerations or conversations that you have with your clients as they're thinking about coming up here and they're saying, Enrique, should I buy this in cash? Should I take out a loan? And what is that going to do? What's the impact? What kind of conversations do you have, and how do you build a relationship with them?
Yes, it's very important to listen to them. What's the purpose that they want to achieve? They want to use the property as a second home. They want to use it as an investment. What is exactly that they want to do? And a loan from us is extremely interesting because interest rates are very low. Normally in their own business, they make more than what they pay us. So it makes a lot of sense, and they can leverage the purchase and buy a property that is maybe either more expensive or do not use enough of their cash that they can use in their company, and have even more income in the future. We normally ask them to send us a request a pre-qualification letter, so that they are not afterwards hurrying and maybe not able to close. So that's important. The relationship that Alex was mentioning with the realtors, the realtors should encourage that, instead of signing the contract and then the client for some reason is delayed in providing certain documentation, then we have trouble closing on time.
Right.
It's actually interesting to point out, the best deals right now are to be made in the higher end.
Mhm.
And you may have $500,000 cash, but you're probably going to end up overpaying for a $500,000 home. If you can take out a little extra money in a loan, you can, in the end, it'll be the better investment. Because the under $500,000 market is a very saturated market where things are, people are putting all their money in, and the best deals are in the higher end right now because the city is still appreciating.
And right before, earlier we saw some slides on great research that the team has put together. And we'll share those with you after the webinar in an email as well. If you don't catch all of the webinar, you want to go back to hear different pieces, we'll send you, excuse me, a recorded version of this so that you can get a chance to hear about it. And every time I talk to you guys, even though it's the same information, I always catch something new. It's fantastic. But let's go back to technology, right? So how much of it are you having these conversations about? What kind of properties, to finance, or how much loan to value? Give us some of the specs that you think about when you're having these conversations.
Okay, as I mentioned before, we are completely paperless, so that's fabulous. Yesterday, for example, somebody brought me actual papers, for the financial information, and I really didn't know where to put it because we are completely paperless, and that helps us to the team because we can all work at the same time. That's important. It's not only me. There's a whole team, around us. Because at Banesco, we really want to close the loan or approve the loan as soon as possible. And it's not only how much we can lend, it's how much the client, is willing to get a loan for. We can lend up to 70% on properties, that are going to be used for second homes. If it's a cash out, we can lend up to 50%. We have rates that are fixed for 3 years or for 5 years, and we have different programs. The advantage is that we are here. We have a face, we have a number, a telephone number where they can reach us. So the underwriting is done in-house. So, we are prompt in responding to the client, and that gives, I think, the clients a lot of confidence. And not only not only the client, but also the realtors, if there's a mortgage broker involved, if the attorneys, everybody, can reach us and know exactly what's the status of the loan.
It really sounds just like you were talking about, Alex, that you're kind of going that extra step to think about everything involved, from our client's point of view, right? The relationship,
Right.
What they're going to need, anticipating their not just the loan, but cash management solutions. So and even beyond banking, helping to connect them with a network that can answer their questions, right?
Yeah, so we refer them to attorneys. We refer them to accountants. We really assist them in a global way, if you wish.
And let's talk about do you see a fit between the type of appetite of properties that buyers want and that the bank is approving, or is it really just about loan to value? And describe that a little bit more.
Well, in general, we follow our clients. So, the clients, the foreign nationals tend to buy in condos, of course, because it's easier to maintain. You don't need like a manager. You don't need to take care of the grass or the pool or whatever. So in general, they buy condos, and the kind of properties that we finance are the high end. So we have actually lent in all of the top buildings, like the Ritz-Carlton, the Porsche building, Armani Casa, Brickell Flatiron, SLS, all of the big names we have been following our clients. So in general, there is a match. Those are the properties that we like. We like the higher loan amounts because those clients, we can assist them from accounts. We can assist them with credit cards. We can assist them with wire transfers, because normally the typical customer buys one property today, maybe a small property because the son or the daughter is studying at one of the universities, but then they buy a second home, and one day they sell the property and they come. That's why the relationship is very important, because it's not that we do a loan and we never do a loan for that person anymore. It's they always come back.
That's right. Do you also find you have repeat buyers as part of your portfolio clients?
No, absolutely. They always say, especially when it comes to Miami, a buyer goes through a sort of stages. First it's a condo, then it's a boat, then it's a house with a dock, then sort of there's a gradual evolving here. But it's what's interesting what you were saying about the condo market. that is really an area that at the beginning of COVID sort of stood still, and where many people didn't feel that they wanted to be on top of each other. And that is a market now where you can find some of the best opportunities. We have a very low inventory when it comes to single family homes. There's been a lot of inventory on the market that is, we've had greedy sellers that came with very high prices. We're seeing some price adjustments now. And quite a few foreign sellers who would like to take that money and reinvest it. There's a shifting around within Florida also. Some of the people that are selling here are going to other parts of outside of Miami. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity, and true, second homes, condos are better than the single family. They're easier to take care of.
Tell us a little bit more about that. What are some of the neighborhoods or some of the areas that you're seeing? So there's still pocket for growth, even though everybody talks about, the prices being too high. You don't think that's the case?
I mean, for locals, I think they don't understand what's happening. For somebody coming from New York or London or Paris, where the average square foot price is 4,500, it's still a bargain. And those are the buyers we're dealing with. And they are elevating not only the way business is done, but also obviously the prices here. And I think we're only getting started. I think this is a very good time to buy. I think we're at the beginning of things, getting even better. I think the condominiums have found a way to manage a pandemic. They found ways to make life even nice in a condo. And I think people are just enjoying the fact that here in Miami, the proximity to each other is not so close. God forbid we have another pandemic. This is not a bad place to be. Mm-hmm. It's also with the influx of domestic buyers from other cities, education is elevated, our cultural life is elevated, our infrastructure is elevated. We actually have a train system now that just started running again yesterday, the Bright Line. Mm-hmm. So it's still a growing city. Okay, so there's better now than later. There's growth opportunity, right? What they say, that it's better than 10 years ago. If you couldn't get in, then now is better than tomorrow, right? Just this home, for example, I was, we had somebody here yesterday for a second showing, and they're trying to wrap their heads around values up in this area. And if you drive up and down this neighborhood, you will see one new construction after the other. People are buying land lots for around $3 million on this island. 10 years ago, you could buy a $3 million lot on the Venetian Islands. Now they're 13 million. And that's just how things have evolved. How do you see this from a financial perspective? Like, tell us a little bit about the economic projections, interest rates, value of property appreciation. How does the bank take this into account when they're making it to a loan? And what are you telling your clients?
Well, interest rates are going to remain low for the near future. As far as I know, the first increase in interest rates is expected towards either the end of 2022 or the beginning of 2023. And again, that increase is going to be just minor. So they are going to remain stable. The prices, as far as we have seen of the properties, have increased a lot, but recently they have stabilized a little bit. And that's good for the bank. I think it's good for the market as well, that the prices do not go, continuously up. So, it's good that they take a little bit of a breather. By no means that means it's a decline in prices or anything. The market is strong because Miami is something that I would like to mention, that for foreign nationals, we say, okay, the property is going to be a second home or it's going to be investment, but in reality, lots of foreign nationals use the property for business in this sense. Maybe a person from X country in South America doesn't want to do or sign a contract, in another country. So both of these gentlemen or businessmen come to the US and they get together in one of their properties, one in condos, and in short, they do business. They tell me that frequently, that they came to a trip to Miami, they enjoy the weather, they enjoy the different amenities that we have now here, but they also were able to conduct a business with somebody from another country in South America who they also own a property here.
And of
Plus,
course,
just to mention, we don't charge our investors extra taxes like some others. I think Australia now has banned Chinese from buying more because, they put high taxes on investments. So we're a very investor friendly country.
well, and that's a good point, right? The interest rates that some of the investors are accustomed to in their countries is a lot higher than
Yes.
what you see here, even inflation adjusted.
Yes, and for example, Alexander mentioned the prices of a property in Paris or London, and in reality, for us, we find as foreign nationals, is that the prices here are lower than a property in Rio de Janeiro, lower than a good building in Buenos Aires, is lower than properties in some other places in South America. So as these people. These individuals already have the principal house there. They already have a second home in their own country. So it's natural to buy in Miami, where obviously it has, continue evolving in all these decades.
That's fantastic. Well, let's talk about the experience, right? Because this sounds great if you're here and time is not an issue, but the reality is very different, right? You've got, especially when it comes to foreign nationals, they're coming in from overseas. Last thing you want to do is spend a trip to Miami and say, I'm going to take 7 days to just do paperwork and I may not even finish. How do you prepare them? Walk us through the process of how they get in touch with you. How do you have those initial conversations about the matchmaking? And how do you prepare them to, to get ready before they even hop on the plane and to come look at the property?
Well, that's a very important time frame because, like you say, people, you want to make sure that when they come, they're ready to pull the trigger, so to say. Obviously, we try to ask them the 21 questions of, what are you buying? Try to get to know, get inside their mind what it is that appeals to them, why they're moving here, what's important to them. Do they have pets? Do they have children? Don't they have children? Do they like boating? Do they like theater? So that we can narrow down the options in our own mind and then start feeding them sort of customized suggestions and working off of the feedback. Feedback is very important. And it's interesting. This is also where it's important that you know how to deal with different cultures, because different cultures give different feedback. Some don't at all. Some are very, very modest and don't tell you what they really think, but we need to know what you really think so that we don't waste your time. And then once you're here, it really is about, I try to spend the first day or two, not just dragging people into homes or condos, but actually giving them a sense of the city Miami has become in the different neighborhoods. So it is a bit of being a tour guide and showing them, what Atlantic Isle is all about, or Sunny Isles versus, Miami Beach.
I've got like 5 questions coming right out of that, but I want to give you a chance to come in and how do you prepare investors before they come here?
Well, hopefully they had requested a pre-qualification letter so they know that they have a loan available to them, and if not, sometimes we receive the client, or when they have already executed a contract, is tell them that we have been doing this for years, that there is financing available. Let's put all the documentation together so that we can approve this as soon as possible. So I tell them it's a complex process, but we make it very easy for them because we are with them all the time.
Okay.
And I find it important that people work with local brokers, local lenders. We have a situation now, a couple from Canada working with their local bank in Canada, and it makes me nervous. It's very good to do that pre-work before you come and look at property with a local.
Well, and you talk about relationships, right? So if you don't understand a relationship, and when you're at a certain level, the whys behind the numbers are important. And when you're talking about foreign national, things don't necessarily translate just the numbers themselves. So having that understanding, having that sensitivity is important. And Banesco is really good about working with internationals.
Yes, and we need to understand the business of the person. We need to know understand how the person has created his wealth, and what are his future accomplishments. So we really establish a very strong link with the person. We have not only documentation, but have video conferences with them, and we so that the person then is classified correctly at the bank, so that we can give them assistance multiple times. It can be one loan now, but we can do another loan in the future. They can be accounts, whatever it is, how we can serve them, and so that the better job that we do in the beginning is better for the client in the future, because already it's in our system. Somebody can go and look and see the track record of this person.
And the objective, of course, is confidence. Confidence that they're going to hop on a plane and be able to accomplish what they want to what they want to do. Confidence from the bank that this is going to be a solid transaction, and confidence in you that you've got a buyer that's going to come here, look at something within a range, and have a faster closing, right?
No, it's for us, it's very important that the relationship between the lender and us, because we often pick up the phone and say, what do you think? You're looking at this property. Also, when it comes to condominiums, it's not just the person, it's also the property that some people are, you're looking at. And if somebody's familiar with, like you are, with the Ritz-Carlton and Armani, and it's very helpful. It's very helpful. Some buildings have lawsuits, have issues that certain lenders know how to work with.
Exactly.
And let's be honest again, the level of sophistication of the clients that we're talking about, it's not about the deal's going to fall through because of ability to pay. The deal's going to fall through because your ability to put up with all of these unknowns that become friction take you to a point saying, well, I'm just going to go somewhere else, or I will do it with cash, and then you have a suboptimal result as far as their investment portfolio, right?
We've actually had cash offers where the buyer was so confident in their lender that they were going to finance. They dared make a cash offer and still finance. We see that quite often. Have you seen that?
Yes.
So let's talk about technology, because in order to make all this possible, technology needs to be a part of the experience. So how have things changed during the pandemic? And you talked about Matterport at the beginning. What is technology for these investors?
Well, for us, we embraced technology actually before the pandemic, because for us, technology means that we are able to process the loan faster, and also that many people can look at the loan at the same time, and that expedites the process. Because I don't want to get into details, but it's not only the credit side of the loan that is important, but we have the compliance side as well. So we embraced technology before, so we became paperless before the pandemic, and that allowed several divisions of the bank to work at the same time. So that's why we're sort of proud that we can close quickly, or actually it's not close quickly. We can approve the loan quickly, because closing time depends on the closing agent. Okay, but we try to approve the loan quickly, and then it's just the time belongs to the closing agent.
Right. Well, there's many different hats in this process, as everybody knows, and I think being able to have a confident partner is important. Okay, I had a question that I was holding back on, and everybody that's watching this, take out your pen and paper, because this is where we're going to get some great inside information. Alex, tell us about some of those neighborhoods that are up and coming, and can you still make money in this market? Are our neighborhoods appreciating? Is this still a good time to invest? Where do we want to go if we want to buy property?
You do need to be in it for a while. This is not a market to flip. Those days are over. You should hold on, 5-7 years. But if you do that, I think your appreciation will be tremendous. When it comes to single family homes, one thing that is playing a big role is insurance on properties. And so if you can find pockets in Miami where you don't need flood insurance, those are great investments. Those areas are going crazy pretty much. The El Portal is one of them, certain areas and the shores where the elevation is high enough that you save thousands on insurance. So that's areas we like to steer certain buyers to. But then the condo buyers, I would say, look at some of the high priced listings. I think you're seeing price adjustments. I think in the high end condo market, you get square footage equal to that of a single family home for a better price. Single family homes are selling 20%, no, 29% are selling over the asking price. With condominiums, that's only 15% that are selling over the asking price. So you're better. It's better for you to find to pay what it's actually listed at. So the list and sale prices are closer together. Sunny Isles is definitely an area where a few years ago people were sort of holding back, and now they call it the Riviera of America. It's because of the influx of foreign buyers and new construction. It is a very wealthy city, and with that comes a good school system. And whether you take advantage of it or not, it obviously contributes to the community elevating in level. So that you can still make some bargains and bargains. The further north you go too, Sunny Isles, Hollywood, Hallandale, and then big one is Miami. That you do not need to. You used to come here just to be on the beach, but you can have a stunning water view. Join a beach club only 10 minutes away for much less. So Edgewater is a very interesting area that's grown tremendously and still has a lot of potential.
All right, fantastic. So, we've got about a couple minutes left. I'm going to encourage everybody that's watching to send some questions over, and as we're doing that, I'm going to try to wrap up a couple conclusions that we have here from what we've been talking about, right? So, from your side, Enrique, you have a couple conclusions that you wanted to share.
Yeah, I would like to mention is a foreign national can access to loans for the purchase of properties in South Florida. If one message that we can convey is number two is that are very the purchase time take the two to buy property. And number three is that at Banesco we have the programs, we have the experience and the expertise in doing these loans for foreign nationals, and we can assist them from the beginning to closing so that they're happy, buying their dream home.
That sounds fantastic. Well, what about you, Alex? Any concluding statements?
Well, I would encourage everyone not to wait. We have a lot of buyers that feel discouraged now because they came with certain expectations and they've noticed that prices have gone up. But I would say if you do want to buy, don't wait longer. Especially certain areas. Yes, and take advantage of the interest rates. When I started real estate 15, 16 years ago, interest rates were at 7%. Now they're around 3%. So this is something that you need to take advantage of. Take advantage of that. Yeah, it's an investment. Miami's still a good place to put your money. We're also seeing a younger type of buyer here, and with that, in sort of a changing landscape of who's moving here. Miami used to, for many years, be a retirement community, low income, generally not high salaries, and now it's become a tech hub. We have a mayor that is pushing, that has now said he wants to be paid in Bitcoin. So it's really a very progressive city, and that's not going to stop. These millennials that are moving here, these young people that are moving here, they're certainly not going to turn around and leave anytime soon. And with that comes growth. And so, yeah, my biggest takeaway is don't wait. Don't wait.
That's great. And so we're going to be sharing some of the, I think we have a slide coming up where if you want to get in touch with Banesco or with you, Enrique, we have social media handles, and we can put that up there. And if we have some questions, possibly, let me see if I can pick those up. Just a second here. All right, so here's a very good question, and this was for you. Do you have to be a client of Banesco in order to get a loan? I presumably from Banesco.
No.
You do not. So how does that work?
No, we like to gain the trust of the clients. Okay, so by no means we force them to be a client first. Okay, so if they want a loan, they can come to us. We can provide them the loan, and they will realize the kind of service that we do. And normally the clients open accounts with us, but they don't need to be a client of the bank.
Yeah, and I think that's important because it's not about unlocking, some secrets because you're part of Banesco or you're a client. It's and you're foreign national. You're coming here. You want to think about what are your choices for partnering with a financial institution. Banesco, because of the relationships and the understanding of the foreign market, is an excellent option for securing a loan. And once you have that loan here with one bank, you hate to have those situations where your loan gets shopped around, it's all over the place. You want to kind of keep it easy, right? So if I can have the loan with one bank and I can also have excellent cash management services and access to remote technology with the same bank, then we find that some of our clients really appreciate that opportunity. It just makes things easier. A lot of times these properties are investments, right? So they want to get paid. You probably want to get paid at a bank that's local, and so Banesco is really good with that.
Yes.
But I want to jump on that, and I think it's a question that comes up a lot. You don't have to be a client of Banesco in order to get a loan.
No.
Okay, so let's pull up your slide here with information on how everybody can get in touch with Enrique if they want to, and with Banesco, and also Alex. I'm not sure if your information is on this slide. If not, everybody that's listening in, we are going to be sending an electronic recorded version of this webinar via email. Again, we are very, very fortunate to have the founders and the members of the team here with us today.
We have the easiest website, The Team Miami.
Okay, so everybody, theteammiami.com. To get in touch with the team. You can get a hold of them. You guys reply. You have great social media handles as well. Great reports too. The team, you guys come up with great information as far as what's going on in the market. We saw some of them in this presentation. So if you want to get your research and you just want to find out what's happening, please contact the team and they will send you reports. They'll tell you what's going on, and they'll also help answer your questions. If you want to know more about financing and how to get involved with that, please contact Banesco at the information that you saw on screen. And I think with that, we can close the webinar. So thank you, everybody. If you missed it, there was an earlier version of this in Spanish. We haven't done one in Portuguese, but I think we're past due to do that, right? With the Brazilian organizations, because both of you guys have a lot of clients that are Portuguese. You speak
Correct.
Portuguese, so I'm gonna have to sit back and get one of our moderators that speaks Portuguese, because mine is not quite as fluent. But it's really has been a pleasure. We're now going to sign off, and I apologize to everybody here, but we are going to go really enjoy this amazing property. And if you are thinking about getting in a unique, one-of-a-kind Italian villa in Miami, and you're looking for the right financing partner, please don't wait. I know there's offers coming in. This place is one of a lifetime, and so I encourage you to check it out and give it a try. So thank you so much for sharing the morning with us. Thank you, Enrique. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you to everybody who helped put this together. And we're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.